Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Melanie Tanko, COO and co founder of Kypher. I'm happy to announce our new web series about security in your practice. Each week, we'll explore a different topic that we hope will better educate your practice. And along the way, we'll provide some tips that will help to add security to your practice if implemented. We'll try our best to keep each episode short and sweet. With our first episode in this series, we are going to talk about some quick, easy, and most importantly, free changes you can make that will decrease your data security risk. Let's get started. Okay, so this first tip seems like a no brainer, but you would be surprised at how many times we see account sharing going on at practices. Having multiple employees use the same credentials can easily get overlooked as a security threat. It seems harmless enough. So, why is it a security threat? Well, when more than one person is using the same login credentials, the security audit trail is not going to provide the required level of detail, and it would be unclear exactly who did what actions on the network or within programs. In addition, you're not able to have protected compartments of information that should be known only to certain individuals. If you want to pass an audit, every employee must have his or her own unique network account and unique login for all software applications used at your practice. Okay, so you increase the length of your password, and that's fantastic. But don't stop there. A strong password isn't just about its number of characters. A strong password makes use of different types of characters too, like uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Those are the non alpha and non numeric values like punctuation. Most software passwords today enable the use of special characters, so there's really no excuse to not use them. This little extra thought in creating passwords helps protect against brute force attacks on the network. For those of you not familiar with the term, a brute force network attack is an attempt to hack a network with an automated program that tries various combinations of characters to gain access by finding a password match for a network account. Adjusting the security settings on workstations is quick and easy. This safeguard is a great automated action that covers you if you forget to lock your PC or Mac or don't get a chance to before stepping away. It should already be a part of your daily process to manually lock your workstation when stepping away, so the screensaver lock is really a secondary line of protection. Some situations might call for keeping machines on at night, but simply put, a machine not live on the network is more secure than a live unattended machine on the network. Unattended machines might be susceptible to attack due to holes in software or middleware programming. So it just makes sense to minimize the places an attack could start if it was easy to do so. Taking machines offline when the practice is closed, well, that is the machines that aren't actually needed for some critical business process like backups on the network, is a great habit to include in your process. And any machines that do need to be on at night, they of course need to be in a locked state. A lot of healthcare practitioners and staff are aware of the recommendation to position monitors to hide information from non staff view. I have personally visited many practices and visually surveyed this guideline for myself. In some cases, those who did make an attempt to shield the screens did not have a secure enough position that actually prevented someone from looking onto the screen if they really wanted to. Let me give you an example. At one practice, by standing at the edge of the counter and leaning my body just slightly to the right, I was actually able to get a visual on the screen and make out most of the wording. And I don't have perfect vision. So I guess there's a tip 5.1 in here. Don't leave the front desk unattended if you can help it. I was able to see the screen at this one practice because no one was at the front desk. This also goes for any exam room PCs. Don't leave those unattended either. An exam room PC should be manually locked when a doctor or staff member is finished with it, and certainly before stepping out of the room. And those machines can also be set up to auto lock with screensaver after a period of inactivity, as we discussed in number 3. In line with the pattern you may have noticed, not putting any protected health information on devices that leave the office is the most secure. But being able to transfer and store PHI information and conversation data on laptops and other removable devices is becoming a necessity as a part of your plans to provide the best patient care and to be competitive in your market. For this, you're going to need to utilize secure software that encrypts the data both before it travels across the internet and while it sits on a client endpoint, like a laptop, mobile device, or tablet. If the data is not encrypted before it leaves your firewall, which is essentially your organization's gatekeeper, it could be read if intercepted. On the other hand, even if your email or file was somehow stolen or didn't make it to its intended recipient, encryption prevents it from being read. This will also help if the device is lost or stolen. A good chunk of breaches occur when someone loses a laptop or phone. So keeping PHI and ePHI off those devices eliminates that threat. Credited websites like major commerce and search engine sites and reputable businesses are less likely to cause any security issues. Entertainment websites, on the other hand, have a higher likelihood to contain adware or malware that can download through website cookies or even get downloaded by you clicking links and being unaware of the danger. The best advice is to keep surfing to a minimum at work or not at all. A good rule of thumb is if it isn't a business related site, don't visit it. Security risk increases with the number of devices connected to the network, and connecting personal devices introduces too many unknowns to keep it secure without a tremendous amount of overhead. When you don't have administrative control over devices, they shouldn't be on your network. If you want to offer something like Wi Fi to patients, hook it up as an island that is unaware of other network devices, so it's just a way for people to get out to the internet. Another guideline that I see practices fall short of time and time again is to make sure that patients and visitors are accompanied throughout the visit. As a patient, most of the time this happens when the visit is over and I return to the front desk to finalize anything or schedule a follow up or just to leave. So when I exit the patient room and no one is with me, I can pretty much decide where I want to go and which turn and which room I want to peek into. So we're all comfortable in our own offices and have a feeling of trust amongst those we work with. And then that feeling of trust passes on to the patients, especially since we know most of the ones that come through the doors. But hello, this is not about how you feel or which patients you do or don't know. This is about using the correct processes to make sure you are absolutely doing all you can to be safe and respectful of the responsibility bestowed through HIPAA rules that we all have to adhere to. And finally, in a breach situation, one of the very first pieces of information you'll want to know for investigative purposes is exactly who is granted facility access and in what capacity and with what roles. The more detail you can provide here in documentation, the better. Keeping that list exclusive also limits the chances of unwanted access. That concludes our first episode. I hope you were able to learn a little or a lot, and we'll put some of these tips to good use. If you have any questions or be interested in a free consultation, email me at mtanko@kypher.com or give me a call at the phone number listed above. Thanks for joining us today, and see you next time.